So good morning everyone. This is Kribakaran Rajendran, founder of Algo Trading from SquareOff.in. I have my friend Vishal Mehta, founder of Market Scanner. So this is the fourth episode of Enhance, where we'll be discussing about not specific to trading strategies, but there are certain elements which are very relevant to trading strategies. So we'll be discussing about that every week. So this week we are going to discuss about how to generate trading ideas. Where do most of the algo traders, or where do we usually, generate these trading ideas? What are some of the resources, blogs, books that we keep on reading or keep on referring to, based on which we try to generate certain trading ideas and try to test that, and then we try to implement them. So the list of things that we are going to discuss in this coming videos will be mostly unknown. Like those sites are not very famous one, but those are almost kind of a gems. So even Vishal also has some list of resources that he wanted to share. I also have some list of resources that I would like to share. So we will be sharing both these things together in this episode. So how are you, Vishal? So should we get started with it?
Definitely, because Kiru, I think so. This is one of the most interesting topic, if you ask me. Like, if
Right, right,
anybody wants to start in trading, like, okay, I want
right.
to get started in trading, but where do I get my ideas from? And I think so. We are trying to address that most important question. And sometimes when you're coming out with, because I keep on checking on your blog, a lot of new ideas come in. So that
Right.
question was always on my mind. That how did he comes out with so many ideas? So now I will know the secret this time around.
Fine, 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 man. So we'll try to keep this particular session short, like to the point. So we don't have much slides to discuss about. So the first and foremost thing that really helped me was this site called Better System Trader. It's a
Mhm.
kind of a podcast, interview podcast, where the guy Andrew, he tries to interview some of the world famous, the best traders in the industry. So some of them are fund managers, some of them are trading psychologists, and some of them are well-known authors of some famous book. So he
Mhm.
has almost done some 190 plus podcasts so far. So even I remember I started this I mean, reading about this particular podcast only in the year 2016-17, I guess. So the moment I started to read about it, because when I was working in my Infosys or previous organizations, I always have some additional time. So that is when I came to know about this podcast, and it was excellent. Like there is not even a single minute that goes waste. Whoever comes here and tries to share their own experience, it's kind of reading 100 Jack Swagger's book. So even having one market wizard book gives you so much of wisdom. Imagine listening to all these hundreds of podcasts. And even I remember, like, I have taken no printouts of all those podcasts. I have taken it in
Wow.
2017 itself. So I have everyone's, like Brett's, Linda's, and what happens, like what happened to systems trading during this Brexit times, and multiple other things. So instead of listening to podcast, I usually download that, and because you have the both printed version as well as you have the video, the audio version. So people who wanted to listen to audio, they can listen to it, and people who wanted to take a printout of it, they can simply take the printout of complete conversations. So people who wanted to get started, they just go to this site, bettersystemtrader.com. There you
Mhm.
just have to select whatever the podcast that you wanted to have, you wanted to listen to, and you can download it. Like if you wanted to open any specific podcast, you just click on it, and then
Mhm.
it opens up this audio version as well as you can download it. So if you wanted to listen to the audio version, you just click on play. That would play the complete audio version of it. And if you wanted to download it, you just scroll down and you can download the complete interview thing. So that this is something, because these guys are real time traders and
Mhm.
dealing with millions of dollars. So people who wanted to get started with algo trading, the views, the ideas, and the things they discuss, and what are the issues usually these guys face with respect to managing higher capitals, and what are the issues these guys face with respect to managing multiple strategies. And most of these guys discuss about how to handle the risk part, like how you can reduce the drawdowns. So, and like there is one guy called Lauren, and he specifically discusses about short selling. So
Mhm.
those episodes were completely different to what you have about the market perspective. So if you have certain market perspective, and if you listen to these podcasts, you will think like, okay, whatever things that you have learned so far, it's completely irrelevant, because most of the things that we usually read are from Indian authors or Indian blogs, or no some other the other forums like Tradergy or Trading Q&A. So these forums are still at a nascent stage. Like whatever things that has been shared there is still like they talk about indicators or how one can generate trading strategies based on moving average. So those are simplest form, but these one are completely starts from beginning to advanced. There are multiple layers here. So
Mhm.
each and every episode is so gem. So if you really wanted to spend some time over a weekend, or you can schedule it like every weekend, I wanted to listen to 4 podcasts. So once you
Mhm.
do that over a period of time, you will have multiple different ideas. You can note down some. If someone discusses about a range breakout, or if someone discusses about mean reversion, you can discuss, or you can jot down all those points, and then you can try to see whether this can be applied to Indian markets or not. So that is how I get started with algo trading with
Interesting, very
this
interesting. I think so. This is
better
one of
system.
the very good podcast kind of, you get to learn so much thing. That's very interesting. Yeah. What else? Kiru, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, man. I was on mute. Sorry. So the next one is this Quantocracy. So Quantocracy is a kind of a website where instead of they write about articles, it's a kind of a mashup where they try to bring in multiple articles from different sources, and they try to put it in their website. So if you go to Quantocracy, like you will see all different articles which are quantifiable in nature, and that is being pulled out from different websites all over the world. So once you go there, you will see what are the some top trending articles related to trading strategies. Like if you see 4 simple strategies to trade Bollinger Bands, stock market data and analysis. So we have so much of resources in one single place. So instead of you going to multiple different sites and trying to note down important articles, they got it
Mm.
everything in one single place.
But is it like a Contopian or it is something different? It's
It
different.
is it is different. See, Quantopian is a platform where people come there and share ideas and create
Mm.
strategies. Here, this
Mm.
is a single place where you have all different
Mm.
articles listed by
Okay.
they have their own algorithms which they pick up
Mm.
articles from different websites and put it here. So if you
Okay.
open any of these links, it will go to that specific website. So if you open this link, it will go to a website which is being owned by other person, but
Mm-hmm.
people rated that particular link as something useful. So whatever people rate most useful or most rated, it gets displayed here. And
Okay, so
also
it
they
is
have
like
listed
it's like basically an aggregation of the different articles. So we don't have to go to different places to find where the good articles are. Okay.
exactly. So you have so much of articles here, and it is not only related to trading, it is related to investing, it is related to machine learning, artificial intelligence, everything. All
Mm-hmm.
different topics related to trading and investing will be here, and everything is quantifiable in nature. So nothing
Mm-hmm.
is completely based on indicators or chart patterns. And they have
Okay.
listed all important resources also here. If you scroll down, you could see almost some 50 to 100 different resources that is mentioned here. You can just open any of these things like quantipian is there, quantitative trading is there, quantifiable edges. So there are multiple different other websites which they have linked it here. So if you wanted to open any of these sites, you can just directly open it and you can check it out.
But Kiru, I think so. There are two major links missing: squareoff.in and marketscanner.in.
Yeah, it should get listed soon. Probably,
So,
once we start adding more and more values, people will eventually realize, okay, then no, now if I add it, definitely whatever we have, it's nothing comparable to what they have shared so far, man. We still have a long way
just
to go.
yeah, long way to go, long way to go.
So this better system trader is a podcast one. This quant mashup is almost kind of an article one. So whatever important articles that is related to trading and investing, it gets shared here. So people can just subscribe to the email list so that whenever a particular article that comes up, which they feel it is really important, it gets shared to your email ID directly.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a second thing which I regularly use it. So better
Mm-hmm.
system trader and Contactus. And the third one is a famous blog which most of the guys who specifically use Ami Broker they'll know about it. So this blog is run by Caesar. So this guy actually is into I think Vishal you know him, right?
Yeah. So I
Yeah,
referred to his website all the time and it's there. So he used to work
uh,
with Larry Connors and he was the
Right,
first
right.
guy who was the kind of a core team who were building Excel spreadsheet. When
Oh,
Microsoft was
okay.
trying to kind of come out with an Excel spreadsheet, he was the one guy, or maybe leading the team of Excel spreadsheet as in the
Okay.
first phase.
Right, right, right.
Yeah,
So
it is
he
written
has
as
so
it.
much
Yeah.
of experience. Like he's there in the industry since 1990s, and this guy, no, this guy is also something, no, I really love because whatever things this guy has shared so far in his, blogs, it is so simple. Like there is straightforward, and there is no beat around the bush kind of a thing. And whatever things that he has developed, the methods and the ideas that he has developed is completely no kind of an out of the box thinking. So most people know if they try to deal with EMA and they try to plot it as a, a trend following thing kind of a thing, but he tries to create different trading strategies. I think he has even shared multiple different trading strategies, and even he sold it to large institutions as well.
Hedge funds. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, large hedge funds and institutions. So this is something and another website which I frequently visit to, because whatever things that he has shared, whether it is mean reversion, breakout, or anything, he mostly tests with highly liquid markets, whether it is S&P index or any other international market index. He tests with highly liquid thing, and 90% of the time, whatever he shared here, if you try to apply the same logic with regards to Indian market, definitely it would work. So
Sure.
for once in a while, there could be some strategies which we need to tweak further. But major things with respect to trading strategies, we have only trend following, mean reversion, and momentum. So he
Yep.
covered all these three in his blog articles. And the good
Yep.
thing is everything, whatever no he tested out, he gives with complete statistics. So whatever ideas that he generate, he put up the complete stats and how we what are the rules behind it and how it performed. Everything, the complete rules, he has it. And even people who really wanted to develop their trading strategies or wanted to have their own trading systems, but they do not know how to code, he runs a specific service on Ami Broker as well. So you can give him the strategies, he can develop it, and he can give you the code, and he just charges for it. So that is also one of the service that he runs. So next thing is an Alpha Architect. Yeah. So this is an another website. So which is run by a guy called Wes Gray. So this guy
Mhm.
is also one of a famous a trader come asset manager, and this guy is a student of the famous Nobel Prize winner Eugene Farmer, and
Mhm.
he runs this asset management company called Alpha Architect. So they have their own ETF, and they run almost $1 million of, they manage $1 million of assets which they trade with multiple different international markets. And this guy, he specifically shares many important research papers, like whatever the research papers. I mostly read research papers within articles, because SSRN is another website that I really refer to with respect to reading about multiple trading strategies and researches, what people have researched about and what is their what was a research paper outcome, what they feel about it, everything. You have multiple research papers in SSR, but this guy specifically picks up certain things like factor investing, momentum investing, value investing. So multiple things he picks from those research papers, and he tries to write a detailed article about it. Like if someone discusses about a trend following, he'll explain what are the positives and negative of trend following, how it can be improved. So
Mhm.
these guys are not only into asset management, but these guys educate their investors through multiple research blogs and research papers. So if you just go to Alpha Architect and go to their blogs and or read the research papers, they have their own books also, and they have podcasts. So these things are something that you would not find anywhere in Indian websites.
Mhm.
So that is the depth or the value that they create with respect to all their articles and podcasts. So Alpha Architect is definitely, because Alpha Architect and this CSS blog, these guys are into the industry for almost a decade now, and whatever things that they have done is something phenomenal. We wouldn't find such kind of traders in the Indian community so far. So they have the excel, I mean, they have the perfect knowledge, and also whatever things they've contributed so far is enormous. So
Sure.
that, and moreover, it is still consistent. Like even though they have no reached far heights, still they are regularly posting the blogs, articles on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis regularly,
Mhm.
and nothing is irrelevant. So even if this guy has posted something maybe 6 years before, and if you still check that article and try to refer it and try to test it, it would be still valid.
Mhm.
such kind of information is being passed into this both the blogs, Alpha Architect blog as well as this thesis blog.
Caesar
And the
blocks,
last
yeah.
one that I really look into was this research papers. So research paper I started doing it only in the year 2018, I guess. So I do not know how I came to know about this site, but this is a kind of a research journal which is not only related to trading. You can find research papers across all industries. So what I usually do is just go to this SSRN website and search for certain trading keywords like
Keywords, yeah.
momentum, trend following, whatever things that you can just simply search for it, and then it would display all those relevant research papers that has been published with respect to those keywords. So if I search for trading, then you will have multiple different journals. Open
Mm-hmm.
any of it and read about it. So for an example, this is another research paper which states 151 trading strategies. So
Mm-hmm.
if you open and they'll have all the details like
Yeah.
it's here. So can you see that?
Yeah,
So they
it is
have this
coming up.
trading strategies, and they have the abstract like what this research paper is all about, and they'll
Okay.
mention like what are the things that they have tested it with, and what is the results. So everything you could see it. You just have to download this paper and read it.
Mhm.
You have this PDF version. You can just download it, and they'll have all the details of whatever things that they've tested. So if they have explained about 151 trading strategies, they would have explained all these things. They would have covered mean reversion, trend following, momentum, the mix up of multiple different strategies, and how what are the results. So out of this 151, at least you would be able to relate to 2 or 3 different strategies. You can pick that up and you can try to
Mhm.
modify that and you can create your own strategies.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not only
Interesting, because
related
I
to
can see
trading.
strategies on weather, I can see strategies on crypto, which is like an alternative asset class. Having a
Right, right,
strategy
right.
on a weather future, because I know weather future is big in Australia. I think so. We are also trying to come out with something in Indian context. But yeah, interesting to know that. Yes.
Yeah, multiple things, man. I remember there is a company called Winton Capital. So
Okay.
Winton Capital, they run another asset management company. What they do is they have a specific, they've developed an algorithm which is based on facial recognition, where
Mm-hmm.
these Fed chairmen, who they come out and try to increase or decrease the Fed rate hikes, right? So these guys observe the facial recognition and try to predict whether the news is going to be positive or negative before the news is even out. So if they
My
see, okay, the
God.
rate is high 50% or 2%, 3%, whatever it is, before, based on the blink of eyes, based on the facial movements, they're able to recognize it's going to be a positive news or negative news. And just before the news is out, they'll take the respective decisions, whether buy decision or sell decision, and it is still successful. So there are
Crazy
multiple
stuff.
crazy stuff people are doing. So what we are doing with 920 straddle, we can't even compare with that.
Because I was
They are
reading,
too
like,
advanced.
I was listening to one of the podcasts, and one of the hedge fund guy actually sent someone to the airport. Okay, he actually
Ah.
paid to someone to go to the airport and figure out, because there was a private jetliner. Okay,
Oh.
going, and that company was supposed to take over some company. So they didn't know which of the two companies that they are going to go for a takeover. Okay, and one of the
Oh.
company CEO had a private jetliner. So a hedge fund guy kind of hires a guy who goes to the airport, try to figure out where this jetliner is going in, whether it is going in South of America or North of America. Depending on that, he will figure out which company is going to get taken over, and he'll buy that share. That was like crazy.
Yeah, man. So with respect to alternate data is something, getting popular very, it's almost popular in most of the developed markets. Maybe
True.
probably in India it is, it's still at a nascent stage, but soon, there will be a huge startups in the coming, down the line, where just like how True Data GDFL is providing you this price data, so there will be companies which
Right.
will provide this alternate data. So like we have Treasury.com or some other site, right,
Yeah.
which provides you all these alternate data based on which you can make your innovation. So there is multiple things. And so there is 2 to 3 instances I have read. Like one thing is, I don't know, during this Corona pandemic, there are certain hedge funds which used satellite images to find out whether the Chinese companies are still producing, because 3 out of 4 vehicles that is running in the roads is specifically dependent on China for raw materials. So these hedge funds, what they did is they during this Jan to Feb 2020, during the starting period of coronavirus in China, they were monitoring this satellite images of
The
place
products.
called Wuhan and other places, and they're able to see how the pollutions are coming out from these places compared to the previous year. And they could see the pollutions is drastically down because most of the industries were shut. So the pollutions were drastically down compared to the previous year, based on which they were able to predict, okay, the sales is going to be affected drastically.
Affect.
And there were multiple people who have tried to exit their long positions just before the crash.
Wow.
And after the crash, obviously they made use of it using the satellite images. And companies like other institutions which also monitors the parking lot of Walmart and other big retail companies, and they scan how many number of cars are being parked on the parking lots, based on which they try to generate how much sales the company, or how much profit the company is going to make eventually in that quarter. So before
Wow.
even the quarterly results are out, based on these number of vehicles that are parked in the parking lot of Walmart and other retail stores, they'll try to predict what would be the outcome for that particular quarter, and they take positions before the news is out. And then once the news is out, it will be like, okay, there is a stellar quarter, greater performance, and then they'll dump the shares, because that is when retailers will come thinking that, okay, the news is great, I have to buy it. So they end up buying it, and these guys end up selling it and make a ton of money.
Yep, that's the edge. I remember one of the conversation. One of the hedge fund guy was super successful. So one
Uh-huh.
guy asked him, like, "What's your secret of success?" And he write it down on the paper and put it on his pocket. And that guy was very curious. The guy who was hosting and asking him question, that senior hedge fund manager, like, "What is your success?" And they then talked about like how the economy is doing, how the fundamental company valuations are doing, everything, and he gave all the right answers. But the guy was still curious. The host was still curious that I want to know your secret, which you have put it in your paper. And so, you really want to know how I make my money? He takes out the cheat and hands it over to that guy, and it was written information arbitrage. Okay. So that guy was purely on information arbitrage. That what he was doing. Like wherever there is less information and there was a high information, he was playing that information arbitrage. But yeah, we don't have those kind of necessary ultra like so what we have, we do best with that tools available to us.
Very true, man. Even though we started recently exploring these news-based movements, like there is a specific link which I'll try to add it in the YouTube video. You
Mhm.
have corporate announcement in NSE. So as
Mhm.
per exchange policy, you have to report whatever the news, all these companies to exchange first, then it goes to the media. So
Right.
before even know it is being published in CNBC, it has to go to exchange. Someone has to scan there and have to upload those
Upload it.
articles and
Right.
documents, important documents. All these mergers, acquisitions, profit and loss, everything gets announced only in the corporate announcement first, followed by CNBC. So if
Okay.
you have a crawler which can read those news, but the thing is, you can have a particular bot to read the news, but how do you predict whether it is going to be good news or bad news? So there could be companies which will report, okay, 2,500 crore loss, but still the share would be going up.
Share goes up.
So yeah, so there are multiple things that you would have seen during the result season. No, the results would have been bad, but the stocks would have gone up because it is already factored in. It knows that
Yep.
the results is going to bad. So previously, maybe 1 month time, it would have already started going down. Once the results is out, it might start go up. So when you react based on these news, obviously, we'll end up going bankrupt only. But that is one thing that you can have, like you can just scan for a news and
Mhm.
wait for price information whether it is going up or down, and then probably you can react.
Play on that. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is
I
also
think
one
so.
good.
That would be a good, interesting piece of ideas if you can put it on the link which reads the bots. Because I remember when I was it with Bloomberg and Reuters, we were always asked that you are with Reuters and Bloomberg, so you will get the news first. And my answer was
Yeah.
no. It's a BSC website. It's just that our crawler were much faster.
Right, right, right,
So they were like, pinging that server every second to fetch those
right.
PDFs. And they have this machine learning, or, the AI, which reads to the news, makes a news article. The editor has to just approve it.
That is true, man. But no, like just watching CNBC itself is a late news. Like, no, you can't be so sure. Okay, you are sitting in front of the news channel to get to be updated with the news. That itself is late. First thing is goes to exchange only.
Yep, always.
So these are the secret behind the trading strategies that I usually develop. So
Okay, so
these
I'm
are
going to
very,
check
very,
on the.
very, very useful resources because you wouldn't find anywhere with related to Indian context anything. But still, if you try to apply the same logic with regards to Indian market, it would definitely work. You just have to change it, and you just have to. You will get some spark reading that okay, you would be getting stuck with something, but reading all these articles and blogs and listening to podcasts will give you solution for long-term problems that you have in your mind related to trading strategies.
True, true, true. That's so true.
So this is it for from my side. So probably from Vishal's side, we'll have multiple different resources.